the pardoning power of the United States, or the pardoning power at least of like the president, I'm really starting to doubt. Like I remember when I was a kid, it was explained to me that like the pardoning power was a tool for the president to correct great injustice, right? Like people that were found guilty like in 1995 and they're still doing time over it. Like the president could go back and correct it, right? And it was kind of rare, right? Like the understanding was even if you 100% had a case to be pardoned, it was very unlikely. And if you were to get to the president's desk, it was through years of activism, right? Now it's very transparently being used as a tool to bribe the president, right? You know, it's not supposed to be designed for super powerful leaders and stuff like that, or, people that definitely did the crime even. But that's how Trump is using it because Trump peddles his influence for money. So, lots of money accumulatively, but like pennies on the dollar when you consider all the damage he's doing to like the country he's supposed to be in charge of. And that's just led to a lot of celebrity pardons, and that's kind of just led to the NFL pardons that we're seeing today.
President Trump is making headlines in both the political and the sports world today. Now, in a move announced late Thursday, the president granted full pardons to 5 former NFL stars, including a legendary member of the New York Jets New York Sack Exchange. Now, these pardons cover
New York Sack Exchange. Yeah, I bet that's what they were doing in the locker room. Am I right? Am I right? Football is gay. Am I right? I'm right.
crimes ranging from perjury to federal drugs trafficking. Now, leading the list is New York Jets icon Joe Klecko. The Hall of Fame defensive lineman, who is now 72 years old, had a 1993 perjury conviction wiped from his record.
A 1993 perjury conviction. Huh. Okay.
The charge stemmed from Klecko lying to a federal grand jury during an insurance fraud investigation involving a body shop.
Okay, so just like standard white collar financial crime. That really the only victim is like poor people, like the poor tax dollars. Okay.
Announcement came via White House pardon czar Elise Marie Johnson, who said on social media, "As football reminds us, excellence is built on grit, grace, and the..."
I mean, clearly he didn't have much trouble with it because it looks like he's still working in the NFL circuit. The shit was from like over 20 years ago. Like, I don't see why it was necessary for the president to take even like an hour out of his day to like handle that.
To rise again. Now, the list also includes Nate Newton, 3-time Super Bowl champ with the Dallas Cowboys. Newton was convicted in 2002 for trafficking over 175 pounds of marijuana.
Okay, so we literally just kidnapped the president of a South American country for drug trafficking, right? Right? He was the president of a sovereign nation. 80 people died in pursuit of catching him. And Donald Trump insisted that they had to do it because the trafficking of drugs was just too important. Right? This guy was trafficking 175 pounds of weed. All right? It was of weed. I don't, but come on, we know who we're talking about here. Like, if this was one of Trump's enemies, he'd be like, it was 175 pounds of hard drugs, he would say. Also, it's a little absurd to me, too, that this guy's, like, black, right? It's kind of, like, confusing. Like, there's no way, like, his base is going to like this, right? Why would his base like the fact that he's pardoning a black guy that trafficked drugs? I don't know. Maybe because he's good at football, I guess. I didn't really think about that.
The former Ravens star and 2,000-yard rusher who served time for a 2004 drug conspiracy charge. Travis Henry, a former Bills...
Wait, drug conspiracy? It's kind of weird, like, because, like, the Trump administration is being so anti-drug. I mean, every conservative administration is. It's like, this isn't even the first time that he's done something like this. Like, he pardoned the president of Honduras, who was, like, internationally drug trafficking with the apparatus of a whole entire nation, right? Like, I'm not a fan of the death penalty, right? Especially not for drug offenses that are nonviolent. But if there was to be, a case for that, it would probably be someone that traffics drugs internationally that kill people. You know, dozens, hundreds of people probably. This guy was in the conspiracy. Like, you feel me? I know he's on a much lower level than the president of Honduras, but they got the same pardon. You feel me? Like, what's the continuity here?
Broncos running back who had a 2009 conviction for cocaine trafficking.
This is cocaine. That's what they claim that fucking Maduro was doing. That's literally cocaine. Cocaine kills. Cocaine tweaks you out. People lose their money, like whatever, to cocaine. Damn. And he's black too. This one's really confusing to me. And there's like, even this video is so short. There's just so little information. I mean, I'm assuming that maybe they all have like an agent in common or something that's really tapped into Trump. But it's come on, the pardons are bought and paid for. Let's be real. We don't know how exactly, like, you know. And the sports journalism is in the bucket right now with all these fucking DraftKings ads and shit. Like, sports themselves have no integrity because all the players are betting on themselves and shit. Like, I bet you every player, is in on this shit to some level, or they know of someone in on that shit. Rigging the games so your DraftKings portfolio hits, right? So yeah, it's just a big mess. I mean, NFL has always been corrupt because it's like their sport makes you stupid. I was going to say the R word, but, I'm a classic king, so I didn't. But, football fries your brain, to the point where there should probably be government regulation, honestly. I mean, obviously, I'm not into sports, I know that would suck if the government regulated this shit, but I mean, the NFL isn't. Like, they're a pretty amoral company, like any other company, realistically.
Billy Cannon won a Heisman Trophy in college and was a Houston Oilers great. He died back in 2018. Now, his pardon clears a mid-1980s counterfeiting conviction that occurred after he fell into debt. Now, this...
Okay. I mean, and look, also, here's the thing. I didn't look at these people's cases. I don't really feel like it. I'm lazy, okay? Maybe they didn't do it. Maybe they didn't do it, bro. I don't know. But it's just not really like the Trump administration to assume people's innocence, right? And it would also be nice to even get like a formal statement about like why they are deserving of this pardon. Back when it was a little bit more respectable, they used to do that, I don't know.
Seems to be a continuation of the president's focus on second chances, though it hasn't come without some sort of pushback from legal.
The president's focus on second chances. I mean, the American people definitely gave Donald Trump another chance. That's for sure. Right? But I don't know. There was no second chance for Kilmar Abrego Garcia. There was no second chance for Renee Good. There's no second chance for Alex Peretti. There's no second chance for the people that prosecuted him last time. I don't know.
Circles. Now, critics point out that the president is largely bypassing the traditional Department of Justice vetting process.
Ha ha ha. I mean, he didn't have to bypass it. He just bypassed that more out of laziness. It's not like the DOJ was going to tell him no to anything. The DOJ lets him molest little girls. Oh, why would they give a fuck if he decides to pardon some football players? But that's surprisingly decent journalism from the New York Post. Sports, I guess. Maybe their sports section has a little bit more integrity. Given the fact that this guy is black, it probably pained him to read this a little bit. I'm hoping. He does work for the New York Post, though. It's hard to say.
It's a big day for some of the biggest names in NFL history. For the Jets fans out there, Joe Klecko's legacy is now officially clear of that 30-year-old legal shadow.
How is this clear it? Like, whether he did it, he was already convicted by a jury of his peers, right? With the evidence that was brought against him in a trial, right? Like, the president saying that doesn't count against you anymore symbolically does that, I guess. But like, I feel like that would be so sycophantic to just be like, oh, well, Trump pardoned him, so I guess that means that he didn't do it. Like, what? Who wrote the script for this episode, bro? I don't know. And also, too, can we stop giving a fuck if celebrities get good fortune coming their way? Like, obviously it feels good to see celebrities get like certain wins. It's like, yo, like Bad Bunny, your performance was so awesome. Thank you for, putting out such great art. But like, why should I be excited for them that they got a presidential pardon? You know what I mean? Also, when it's like they more likely than not did the crimes, and some of those crimes actually did hurt people. You know what I mean? Like trafficking cocaine does hurt people, bro. You know, scamming a body shop, like that takes away tax dollars from poor people, and you already were an NFL champion. Did it, did it.